Nanos, Abacus, they all have the NDP slightly worse. Are you not willing to call an election because you know you're going to lose bad?
Things are crazy here in Canada. Welcome back to Moose on Loose. My name's David, and today's top stories here. So we've got Jagmeet Singh coming out with his letter today saying that he's not supporting Justin Trudeau anymore. He'll vote non-confidence in Justin Trudeau when he has the next opportunity. So he gets absolutely slaughtered on a CTV panel here. So what I want to do is contradict this panel, the pundits on there just making fun of the guy, to an interview he just did a few days ago before he made this announcement. You'll notice in the interview, he can't answer the questions. He looks like an absolute fool. This is one I haven't showed on the channel. Jagmeet essentially did two different interviews on the same day. I've already showed one of them on the channel, so this would be the other one. I'm pretty sure this one day he did these two interviews, and looking like a fool, he realized he had to make a move because this wasn't going to work. Any interview going forward, the reporters would continually humiliate the guy. So let's jump into this. We got a panel here on CTV, Vasi Kapelos, and they just absolutely rip into Jagmeet Singh here, talk about Trudeau proroguing government. So Jagmeet Singh has dug himself into a real hole here.
In the cabinet shuffle strike you strategy-wise, or is it all just kind of noise compared to the big story, which is, of course, the Prime Minister's own future?
Well, Vashi, as you often like to say, and as I often like to say, two things can be true at the same time. So this was, I think, as Scott said, very much a get-her-done cabinet shuffle, plug the holes, try to project that government is working and is conducting the business of government. I just want to come back to one thing that we heard or didn't hear from Jagmeet Singh. And yes, he said, we're going to look to bring down the government in the next sitting. I wouldn't necessarily interpret that as soon as possible, or as soon as January comes around, or the minute the House sits. He's given himself lots and lots of wiggle room here. And that also is in part because his own popularity and his own career is on the line. You've already got the opposition leader, Pierre Poilievre, trolling Mr. Singh, saying, you keep promising to do this. You're not going to, you haven't done it yet. Let's see when you do. And you've got Singh, who's seen his own personal popular appeal decline over the course of 2003, not increase. So all of which to say, I know that this has been a day where people feel like they're ready to nail the final coffins into the existence and the length of time that this Liberal government continues to stand, that the Prime Minister continues to keep his job. Again, two things can be true. Long term, yes, it's terminal. Short term, let's see how many more days he can drag this out.
Kathleen, let me swing over to you on that question, because Shakti does raise a good point. The wording is very specific. We will put forward a clear motion of non-confidence in the next sitting of the House of Commons. Mm-hmm. Is your understanding that that could happen any time during that sitting, or as early as possible?
Well, of course, opposition confidence motions are at the government.
Their opposition days.
They have to be set by the government, and the government showed just in the fall sitting how they can push those off or bring them forward if they want. So by my calculations, the earliest that opportunity could come forth for Jagmeet Singh, if the House comes back on January 27th, if there's no prorogation, would be really a month later, into like late February. So that would be his earliest opportunity to present a motion like that. So it's not all in his hands. And frankly,
so Jagmeet has timed this out so he gets his pension. But as we've seen earlier, though, if Justin Trudeau calls an election, Jagmeet gets screwed if he does it before the 20th of January, or if Pierre Poilievre's motion here to the Governor General, Mary Simon, to reopen the House for a confidence vote, that also would have Jagmeet Singh not get his pension. Will he do it, though? Will he support? I don't think so. He's not going to write that letter.
What is, though, however, in the Democrats' hands is setting out the economic agenda that they want for Canadians. They need to quickly get their message out there about what they want to present to Canadians in the next election, that they're fighting for their values, that they're willing to take on the bully in Trump, that they actually are going to be fighting for regular people, not just the rich. So they need to do that if we are, in fact, going into elections sooner than later. And we haven't seen that right now, what their message is to Canadians.
Right. How salient, Jason, do you think the timing of the NDP's, vote to bring down or motion to bring down the government actually be? Like, does it matter exactly when they do it, or just the fact that they're now promising to do it?
they're yoked to this guy and they can't figure out how to get out of this trap of their own making, right? Like they walked into this mousetrap a couple of years ago, shut the door on themselves, ate the cheese, and they've been in this trap and they can't figure out how to get away. Mr. Singh, quote unquote, ripped up his agreement all these months ago. He's voted to keep Mr. Trudeau in power 8 times since. I will say they're desperate to distance themselves from this, like to barge pole themselves away from Mr. Trudeau and his government, and they can't do it. The problem, and this is one of the things, by the way, I'll answer your question in 1 second, but it's one of the brilliant things that Poilievre did early on was tie these two together, just yoke them together. It's like, you want to be a team? No problem. As Trudeau goes down, you go down. And so in terms of, I don't think we're coming back in late January. I think one way or another we're proroguing, and there's going to be a longer time period. I think Mr. Singh is trying to buy time. Listen, he looks like somebody, he looked like he was getting bullied in those scrums this week, right? Like, are you going to bring him down? Are you going to bring him down? He looked like he didn't know what to say. And the sad part is he didn't know what to say. It took them a week to get together or to draft a letter this morning to say, we're going to bring Trudeau down at the first or earliest opportunity. And by the way, Peter Julian made that policy like 4 or 5 days ago. Who's leading this party? Mr. Singh's looked weak. He's
so on point. Yeah, Peter Julian is the one who talked about bringing the Trudeau government down, not Jagmeet Singh.
Trying to look strong. And the problem is he's yoked himself to the most unpopular politician. And we're getting to the point where it's one of the most unpopular politicians in Canadian history.
Trudeau has been the worst politician in Canadian history, and he's so right. It's such a smart thing for Pierre Poilievre to just immediately attach Jagmeet Singh to Justin Trudeau, knowing that Trudeau would start sliding in the polls and he would just drag Jagmeet with him. He's taking down 2 leaders at the price of 1. And you notice Pierre Poilievre's language when he talks about the Liberals and NDP, he puts the NDP first. NDP, Liberal government, because we know the Liberals are in power. If you put the NDP first, it really emphasizes that they're attached to the Liberals. It's smart wording.
It's interesting, though, Scott, because for a long time, Jagmeet Singh was able to say, I'm going to treat it on a case-by-case basis. I'm not, here's how I'm going to handle it. I'm not going to speculate about what exactly I'm going to do 3 months from now. Like, something changed in the last 48 hours that led him to make as specific a comment as he did today, which is far more specific than anything he or his party had said previously. What do you think that is?
Crushing heavy weight. And the weight is 67% of Canadians who don't want Mr. Trudeau to remain in position. And so Jagmeet Singh did experience that savage scrum this week, where he couldn't explain adequately to people why he would declare that he doesn't support the prime minister, but not rule out that he will support the prime minister. And
I think he did multiple media appearances, and he was just getting humiliated in every single one of them. And he had to finally do something, and he waited long enough that he would most likely get his pension here, unless Trudeau pulls the rug on him, or if Pierre Poilievre's plan works here with Mary Simon, the Governor General, that may pull the rug on Jagmeet as well.
Incoherence of that position, I think, resulted in today's statement. And I did notice the wording with respect to next sitting, and perhaps that leaves some ambiguity. I discount it. And the reason I discount it is that this is a fluid situation, and things are hardening, not softening. And what I mean by that is that if Jagmeet Singh were to pop up in the next month or two and say that he's going to actually take the second or third most available option to bring down the government after issuing today's statement, I think he would be torn asunder, even by his own party. So I think practically he has obligated himself to this course. By the way, I'd say the same thing about the prime minister. I mean, today shows you that inaction and leaving a vacuum creates the prospects for dynamic change that works against you. So I know that the prime minister apparently wants to take Christmas. He wants to put this on pause. But increasingly, what he's going to find is that others will fill that vacuum, and the Canadians will probably grow very impatient, with this Hamlet-like routine. And that's one of the other problems that other Liberals have to think about, caucus members, is, how long can they ask the country to just sit on their laurels while they figure out how they want to proceed?
I think if Trudeau doesn't step down right away, you're going to see heckling increase exponentially as people want. I mean, we've wanted Trudeau out for so long now, but now that it's so close, we can taste it. Jagmeet Singh saying he's not going to support him, the F Trudeau flags, all of it. I mean, Trudeau's getting it from his own party now. 60 of his own Liberals don't want him there. We have 18 that have come out publicly and said it's time for him to go. How much humiliation can the guy take? And the fact that we got reports here today that someone was talking him back into just staying in office is ridiculous. Next up, we're going to jump over to an interview Breakfast Television did with Jagmeet a couple days ago before he announced that he would be taking down Justin Trudeau's government in a non-confidence vote. Just listen to how he answers these questions. He's just squirreling around. He gets humiliated by this reporter, and I'm sure the light bulb moment went off where he realized he can't keep this up.
Calls for an election and Justin Trudeau's resignation are intensifying after his finance minister resigned just hours before delivering a key update on the country's finances. We're going to bring in NDP leader Jagmeet Singh. He joins me live now as we reflect on the year as well as what has been a wild week in politics, and it is only Wednesday. Good morning to you, Mr. Singh. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Good morning.
You said on Monday that the Prime Minister should resign. You are calling for Justin Trudeau's resignation, and yet you are not willing to vote non-confidence. Why not declare no confidence in the Liberal government?
Well, we said everything's on the table, but we know that given what's going on, we've got serious threats of tariffs by Trump that threaten hundreds and thousands of Canadian jobs. We got workers wondering, will my job be on the table? Will I lose my job? We've got people that are having a hard time buying their groceries, basic necessities. We've got people that are saying, I can't pay my bills. The cost of housing is up. And then we have Justin Trudeau, who's more focused on fighting his own party than fighting for people. So it became very clear to me he can no longer continue that role. He's got to resign. And then we've got to get down to the work of protecting Canadians against those tariffs, making sure that we make life more affordable, things that we've been doing throughout the year.
You said on Monday, and again, these are your words, not mine, that Justin Trudeau and the Liberals are focused only on themselves and not on Canadians. And yet you are the one who holds the power to actually put this to Canadians. But you are single-handedly keeping the Liberal government in power. Why is your support for them still on the table?
Well, right now, there is no vote that would trigger an election. But what I'm saying is Justin.
Right now, there's no vote. There might have been one last week. I can't remember. If there was one last week. Who knows? This guy's such a loser. You'll notice, as he just said in this interview and other interviews, Jagmeet will talk about in January, Trump tariffs. I don't want to jump to conclusions here. We need to see what's going on and vote what's best for Canadians. We might have to push it back a little bit, the election, because we need to vote for measures for Canadians. We don't want to be going through an election. He keeps saying this kind of stuff. He is buying himself time.
Trudeau has shown to Canadians who are saying, I'm having a hard time with my life. I'm barely getting by. He's more focused on himself. He's more focused on fighting his own party than fighting for Canadians.
Throughout the whole year, you had the opportunity to put this to Canadians. So are you not focused on yourself too here?
Well, throughout the year, we were able to make some important things happen. We were able to get dental care to 1 million Canadians. So because of our work, 1 million people were able to go to the dentist. And I've met some of those folks. I met Sue in Ottawa, who survived.
Here it is, the story of Sue. Jagmeet Singh basically says it's more important for Canadians to suffer but have dental care than to have an election. That is what he's saying. He's saying dental care is the most important thing, and pharmacare, which is just insulin and contraceptives, is more important than having the ability to pay for groceries, pay for housing, live and feed, clothe your kids. This man is a disgrace.
The cancer is a senior on a fixed income and has basically no teeth left. And she was at the dentist's office when I was with her, and she said, can you get my smile back? And the dentist and the dentist said, yes, because of this program that guy over there fought for, and he pointed at me, that you're going to be able to get your teeth fixed. We're going to actually...
This is a make-believe story. Who is this Sue? Name yourself, Sue. Is this a real story? Either way, it doesn't matter. Jagmeet always tells this story. Is this the one and only time anything ever happened where someone pointed at Jagmeet and said, that guy helped me out?
To give you your smile back. That to me was very meaningful. 1 million people in our country were able to do that because of what we fought for. Free diabetes medication, devices, and free birth control are also things we fought for and we secured in the past year. We've been using our power to get things done for people. And if we were not there, nothing would have happened. Every single thing that the government did to make life better for people were things that we pushed for.
After the holiday period, after Justin Trudeau reflects, say he doesn't resign, then what?
Well, I'm not going to answer hypotheticals, but I can tell you.
This is a great question. Can we just highlight, great question? There's not a lot of journalists asking good questions. What will happen, Jagmeet?
My commitment is we know there's going to be an election next year. We know that 2025 is an election year. That's for sure. And people tell me again and again that they are fed up with and are done with the Liberals. They're not going to give them. They don't deserve another chance. So there'll be an important choice. The Conservatives, Pierre Poilievre, want to cut the things that people need. They want to cut pensions for seniors. They want to cut childcare for families. They want to cut investments in healthcare. They're going to cut, and it's going to hurt people. Or New Democrats, what we want to do is we want to make your life more affordable. make sure you can lower the cost of your bills, make life better.
But
that's a choice.
Life is not more affordable right now.
Of course not. Yeah, under the Liberals, for sure.
I've got to ask you, though.
Under the Liberals, yeah, you supported him for 3 years, Jagmeet. Come on, dude. It's Liberal NDP.
As bad as the Liberals are doing, Angus Reid, Nanos, Abacus, they all have the NDP slightly worse. Are you not willing to call an election because you know you're going to lose bad?
Oh, no, we're ahead of the Liberals for the first time in a decade. Every major poll has put us ahead
Not
of
the polls that I've checked.
Oh, yeah,
She just came with the receipts, and Jagmeet here squirming back into his little hole.
Poll in Canada now has put us either tied with or ahead of the Liberals. So we're at the best position we've ever been in over a decade. But that's not.
So according to Jagmeet, NDP is in the best position they've ever been in. According to her and the polls she's seen, they're worse off. Let's just look at this. So we're jumping over to 388 Canada here. This is the aggregate. It holds all of the polling numbers, so it's really the best source. So we've got Canada Federal here. It puts it NDP at 19% right now. Liberals at 22%, Bloc at 8%. Now, if we look at this is an interesting graph here. This is the one that shows basically where things really deviated here. The NDP, though, you know, they were right here. If we go straight across, they are lower than where they used to be. They're not the best they've ever. I mean, you can just see right off this one graph. This contradicts what Jagmeet just said. And as you mouse over here, you can see the number on the side here, updates. So right now, NDP is at 19%. But back here, 20%, 21%. The NDP at best are flat. Realistically here, they've gone down. Only the last two little blips here, they've gone up. And we look at the seat projection here, same difference. You go back here, this is 2022, 36 seats. Go here, projected 23 seats. How is this the best ever, Jagmeet? He's caught lying. This reporter knows that she came with the receipts.
Not the issue right now. The issue right now is we know there will be an election in 2025. And what I'm hearing from people is they're worried about the cuts that Pierre Poilievre would bring in. They're worried about what would that mean for childcare, what that would mean for dental care. They just finally get it. They finally received. So my invitation is to Canadians out there who are worried about the cuts of Pierre Poilievre, saying, I'm worried about that guy. I'm afraid of that guy. I invite you to join us. If we come together, if we organize, if we fight, we can win. And I want to give people that hope.
Jagmeet Singh here is trying to prey on the people. There are some people that don't like Pierre Poilievre, or they've hated the Conservatives their whole life because their dad or their grandma or someone told them to believe that, and they're just stuck in those ways. And he's trying to sway those voters, and that's really where he's going to get any sort of bump to the party. The problem is he's a sellout. It's all about his pension. Now, if we look at the calendar here, this is 2025. Jagmeet's pension is ready right here, the 25th. But to call an election, there has to be 36 days to campaign for that election. So if we go back 36 days and then to have the Governor General dissolve Parliament, usually takes a day or two. So 36 plus 2, it basically lands us right around January 20th. Either Trudeau has to resign or there has to be a confidence vote that takes down Trudeau by the 20th for Jagmeet to not get his pension. I think he's got this in the bag, which really hurts. Like, we should have a petition to strip him of his pension for not acting in Canadians' best interest. You know, this is really stupid because there was already this offer by Canadians a year ago on the table. We'll just pay out Jagmeet's pension, $2 million or whatever, and just call election a year ago. There's so many Canadians that supported that idea, which is stupid. It's better than having all of us suffer. But of course, Jagmeet Singh just putting on the front, he's getting paid his couple $100,000 a year, and then he gets a pension here. The whole situation is highly corrupt. Let's jump in the comments here. I bet these are going to be good. What a liar. Pierre Poilievre has never said he's cutting pensions. Yeah, I was going to mention that. Pierre Poilievre has not once ever said he's going to touch people's pensions. As this guy says, what this guy spews is ridiculous. Yeah, that's complete lies. Just say it, I need my pension, just be honest. I think he would get a little bit of respect, just a smidge, if he said, you know what, this has all been about the pension, I'm a greedy man. Just say it, Jagmeet. Both Trudeau and Singh must resign. Canada's falling to pieces. There was a confidence vote just a week ago. Once again, Jagmeet supported the Trudeau government. He's worse than a hypocrite. Singh wants to save his pension. Yeah, the pension is the only thing on Jagmeet's table. Jagmeet, stop wasting your breath. He lies more than the PM. Seriously, his mouth is moving, so he is lying. There we have it. Jagmeet, Maserati Marxist, saying, sell out Singh, only for the pension. Well, we've all seen through his lies. It's unsure if he's still going to win his riding. He really needs to lock in that pension if he wants to get it. I've been looking at a bunch of the NDP's pension schedules here, and 5 of them, including Jagmeet Singh, will get them in 2025, I believe. 4 of them, that comes in October. Jagmeet's the only one in February. So they've all had their incentive to try to push this out until October, but 4 of them, it's October 21st. This is why there was that report before of Trudeau wanting to work with the NDP and try to push back the election a week, saying it's for Dollywall or whatever the Festival of Lights instead of for them getting their pension. So I'm glad that seems like that's not going forward anymore. But at this point, are we going to get breaking news every single day up until Justin Trudeau gets tossed out of power?